Billy went back to his room and began to dress. The dragon came close to Billy and wagged its tail. But Billy didn't pat it. If there's no such thing as something, it's silly to pat it on its head. It's a reasonable proposition. Billy washed his face and hands and went down to breakfast. The dragon went along. It was bigger now, almost the size of a dog. Well, so that's interesting. So for some reason, the dragon is now growing. Now we don't really know why it's growing. So that's another mystery that's popped up in the middle of the narrative. You know, we might infer, well, we won't infer anything. It's foreshadowing the fact that the dragon is growing. And the idea there's something like a hint of an idea that if something surprising attracts your attention and you don't attend to it, then it has the probability of expanding in size. And that's a very interesting thing, that idea. So I can give you an example of how that sort of thing can occur in your own life and how your senses blind you to the reality of things. So let's say you get a bill from the tax department and they say, well, you owe us $79.47, and so you think, well, what is that? And you think, well, that's a piece of paper. That's what you have in front of you, a piece of paper. So you crumple it up and you throw it in the garbage. And so then a month later you get another bill and it's like $95, and it's a little bit more insistent, and so you crumple that up and you throw it in the garbage, and you continue to do this, and what happens is that little thing that you're ignoring is going to aggregate monstrous qualities across time, and if you leave it long enough, then it's going to be something that you're really going to have to contend with. Like maybe it's something that destroys your credit history so that you don't get to have a mortgage on your house the first time that you try to buy a house. You know, or maybe you get tangled up with the tax department and they audit every income tax return you do for the rest of your life, which would make you miserable for about a month a year on a permanent basis for the next 50 years. So it's a strange thing, because you know, your senses seem to be designed to tell you what's immediately relevant in this immediate space, right now, here and now. And so you see things a certain way, but they're not really that way. And lots of things that seem relatively innocuous from an objective perspective have the capability of manifesting themselves in magnified proportions across time, and all you have to do in order to have that happen is just do nothing. They'll grow of their own accord if you don't attend to them. And pretty much all the real problems that you'll face in your life are going to be like that. There'll be things in your relationships, for example, that you think, well, I don't really have to attend to that. It's like, fine, you know, don't attend to it once you've been alerted to its existence, and see what happens. Well, and that's what this book is about.